Hey guys, wanted to talk with you a little bit about behavior modification, behavior techniques, so on and so forth, as it relates to our relationship with Christ. And I just kind of wanted to ask you the question, do they work? Does increased good behavior and decreased bad behavior, um, does that lead to a successful relationship with Christ? The answer is no. And and the reason why the answer is no is because behavior modification and new and improved behavior techniques are a function of law. Because whenever we are doing something to improve our behavior and to get rid of bad behavior, um, as in an attempt to grow closer to Christ, we are one doing it out of all the wrong reasons, out of obligation, out of guilt, possible shame, so on and so forth. And we are putting ourselves before Christ. Although we are attempting to come closer to Christ, we are actually putting ourselves in place of Christ, and we are putting a lot of pressure on us. We are putting a lot of pressure on our self-effort. We are um, um, trying to do things out of our self-efficacy instead of focusing on the relationship with Christ and allowing the behavior to take care of itself. That's what I want to advocate to you in this video is a lot of times I see well-meaning Christians and well-intentioned Christians. They want to improve their behavior so that they can grow closer to Christ. But two things that I want to share is, number one, Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ. I no longer live. Christ lives in me. You see, the simple fact that Christ lives in you is the fact that we are fused with Him. We have a new nature. We have a new identity. We have a new life. The old is gone and the new has come, as 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says. We are brand new creations with we are dwellings for Christ, and I think that is so extremely important to understand that we no longer live. We can quit trying to resurrect the old self. We can quit trying to resurrect the self-effort, the try hard, the buck up, the do better, and we can allow Christ to live through us. After all, that's what He wants to do. He wants us to rest. I think it's in Hebrews chapter 4, I believe, talking about the believer's rest. We want to be diligent to enter that rest so that He can work and move through us. And so in this video, I really want to just advocate you guys to focus on the relationship with Christ. Focus less on trying to buck up, do better, and improve your relationship with Christ. After all, He lives in you. There is no God over here, we're over here, and we're trying to move closer to Christ. No, we are fused together. And I think if we focus on the relationship with Christ as the focal point of who we are, our behavior takes care of itself. And so, again, I say, let's try to rest. Although there is a spiritual warfare, let's rest in the midst of the spiritual warfare in knowing that we are no longer under an obligation to buck up, do better, improve our behavior, and put so much emphasis on doing things as much as we are resting and knowing that Christ has equipped us with the spiritual the spiritual armor and the weapons to destroy the enemy. And we can rest in knowing that we have all those things, and not making light of the spiritual warfare. It goes on every single day. You look at Paul. Paul was beaten. He was stoned. He was he even said that he dies daily. He beat himself into submission. it's one of those things that, you know, um, Paul allowed Christ to move through him. He was also governed under the law of agape love. This love that is selfless. This love that is so incredibly unconditional. This is the love that allowed Christ to um, die on the cross and forgive us once for all of our sins. You see, we can fight the spiritual warfare. We can fight the spiritual war, um, but we can also rest at the exact same time in knowing that Christ has equipped us with all the things that we need in order to be successful. And in fact, He wants to work through us to defeat the enemy. And so I encourage you once again, focus on your relationship with Christ. Um, I wouldn't even say grow closer with Him, because He resides in you. You can't get much closer than being welded spiritually to the one that created you. So I encourage you, focus on the relationship. Worry less about behavior and trying to buck up, do better, do this, do that, and just focus on the relationship with Christ, and your behavior will take care of itself. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully